YouTube fam, it's your girl TK, and I am at home vlogging, darling. And I decided that I wanted to get online real quick and speak to you guys about Lul Timm as well as King Von. In this video right here, we're going to be talking about how a verbal altercation turned into basically gun violence. And it's really a thriller. But one of the things I want you guys to know is we're also going to be looking at Atlanta Police Department, okay? And how two police officers, they tried to de-escalate a argument and it turned into them being involved in gun violence while they're off duty. Also, I want you guys to note here, we're also going to be looking at the word copy and how I feel like Lul Timm is actually duplicating what actually happened with King Von and Lil Durk. It's just a lot going on. And it's a thriller, but I'm hoping you guys are ready to digest and deep dive because it's a lot to talk about. Now, the first thing I want you guys to know is that I decided that I wanted to look at this article. And it's coming from Revolt TV, and I thought it was very informative, and I'm sure you'll think the same thing. Now, it says here that Lul Timm, which is Tim, was arrested and charged the day after Von was fatally shot in Atlanta, Georgia. According to authorities, a fight broke out between two groups of men, one including Von and the other including Tim, outside of Monaco Hookah Lounge. A physical altercation escalated into an exchange of gunfire with those groups. Atlanta Police Department Chief Timothy Peake told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution two police officers who were working at the particular club or lounge noticed the altercation and engaged some of the people involved. There was an exchange of gunfire with police as well. First of all, just thinking about the police officers is a thriller. It's a horror story because the first thing I want you guys to notice that when the police officers were investigated and they were questioned about this whole situation, they were told, or they were telling, any investigators involved that they had no clue of whom killed basically King Von. That's a thriller, but they were engaged and gun violence. They tried to stop the altercation. To me, this is a prohibited personnel practice. Because the first thing I want you guys to look at is that these two officers, well, they were off duty. If there was a physical altercation that occurred, why didn't you call for assistance? Why didn't you call for help? Why didn't you ask for 911? You was working at night. You didn't have to step in. King Von could still be alive if the correct safety measures were taken. But obviously there wasn't. And because there wasn't, guess what? King Von's killer could not be identified, not even by trained police officers. Now, if that's not a thriller, what the fuck is? Also, I want you guys to note here is that I've done a couple videos on Lil Durk as well. So this should not be any surprise that I'm going to be bringing up Lil Durk. But on the other side of town, I want you guys to know that Lil Durk as well as King Von were attached to a murder case. But Lil Durk's case is not only a thriller, but it's also the same resemblance of what was going to be happening with Lul Timm and King Von. Well, they both were attached to a murder case. But with King Von gone, guess what happens? Lil Durk, well, he continues to be a victim because he was saying basically this was all King Von's fault. He actually, has a statement. His attorneys gave a statement to the court. This wasn't them together. This was them taking care of their business separately. Okay? And all of these men, King Von, Lil Durk, Lul Timm, they were all going to be attached to some serious felony murder charges. This case was serious. But with King Von gone, you don't have him to blame. You can't say that Lil Durk wasn't a victim because he was alleging he was. King Von's gone. Lul Timm, well, you can't hold him responsible because the police officers on that day, Well, they can't even identify what happened. Who's the victim? Well, it wasn't King Von, obviously, because guess what? No one was held responsible. So guess what? Not only was it mirroring not only a murder, but I want you guys to know it also mirrored drop charges. Lil Durk's case was dropped as well as Lul Timm. And that is a thriller. And the police officers who were a part of that shootout, well, guess what? They were not held responsible. Although they should be on administrative leave due to prohibited personnel practices that were violated. And King Von's case still should be opened. This is what we call a thriller. This boy is dead. And his death could have been stopped. It could have been minimized if the police officers on duty would have called for assistance. But they took it into their own hands and it ended up being escalated because they were off duty. They were working at another club. How could they do a 2-for-1-er? They could have called for assistance, but they didn't. And now King Von, well, he's dead. And that is a thriller. Anyhow, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if so, like, comment, and subscribe. Please keep those notifications on.